Hey, everybody, if you're trying to decide whether a laptop is worth the money, you're probably looking for something that just works day to day, that won't surprise you with hidden quirks, and that feels reliable enough that you can throw a couple of projects at it without constantly worrying whether it can keep up. That's the exact spot where the ThinkPad P16s Gen 4 lands, and if you're ready to hear the real-world pros and cons before you click Add to Cart, keep listening. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about why a lot of people feel stuck at this point. The market is flooded with flashy specs, high-end GPUs, ultra-thin bodies, 4K panels that look great on paper but often end up being a mismatch for the actual tasks you need to do. You might be a field engineer who needs a solid machine to run CAD while traveling, a freelance video editor balancing multiple timelines, or simply a remote worker who wants a laptop that won't freeze when a spreadsheet and a Zoom call run together. The fear is spending a premium on a unit that either underdelivers on the day-to-day grind or overdelivers on paper but forces you to compromise somewhere else, like battery life or weight. So, does the ThinkPad P16s actually hit the sweet spot? Let's break it down by what matters most after you've unboxed it. Who should buy it? If you're a professional who regularly runs resource-heavy applications, SolidWorks, AutoCAD, Adobe Premiere, or data analysis tools like Python notebooks with large datasets, this machine's 32GB of RAM is a genuine time-saver. The extra memory means you can keep a design file open, run a simulation, and still have Chrome tabs and email open without the system hiccuping. The AMD Ryzen 7 Pro 3500U, while not a desktop-class processor, is built for consistent, multi-threaded workloads, and the AI branding translates into a few on-chip accelerations that can shave seconds off image upscaling or voice-to-text tasks. If your work requires you to edit video on the go, the 16-inch WUXGA touchscreen gives you a little extra real estate without sacrificing portability, great for sketching concepts directly on screen. The P16s also shines for people who travel a lot but still need a workstation-class experience. Lenovo's Copilot Plus software integrates hardware diagnostics and AI-driven power management, which means the laptop will throttle down when you're just browsing, extending battery life, but will ramp up quickly when you launch a 3D model. For folks who are used to swapping out external monitors at the office, the 16-inch screen is a comfortable middle ground. It's large enough to avoid constant zooming, yet thin enough to slip into a backpack. Who should skip it? If you're a gamer looking for high frame rate performance, this isn't the machine for you. The integrated Radeon graphics, while decent for casual titles, won't push the latest AAA games at high settings. Likewise, if you're a student on a tight budget who mainly writes papers and streams videos, you'll be paying a premium for capabilities you won't use. The ThinkPad's weight around 4.8 pounds means it's not as featherlight as some ultrabooks, so anyone needing a laptop that stays under 3 pounds for long-haul flights might want to look elsewhere. Practical strengths. The first thing I noticed when I turned the P16s on was how quickly the OS loaded. With a 512GB SSD, the boot time sits under 10 seconds, and loading large project files takes about the same time as you'd expect on a desktop with similar storage. That SSD size is also a sweet spot for most professionals. You can keep your operating system, all your apps, and a decent library of project files without constantly worrying about space. If you do need more, the storage is upgradable, so you can add a second drive later without opening up the whole chassis. The touchscreen is more than just a gimmick. In my testing, I used it to annotate engineering drawings directly, and the pen latency was low enough that the pen felt natural, almost like drawing on paper. Because it's a ThinkPad, the keyboard retains the classic feel that many people love: solid travel distance, a distinct tactile bump, and a backlight that's bright enough for dim conference rooms. The English layout matches what most US-based professionals expect, so there's no learning curve. Battery life, thanks to the AI-driven management, held up surprisingly well. On a mixed usage day, 2 hours of drafting a CAD model, an hour of video playback, and a few meetings, I saw just under 6 hours of runtime. That's not a marathon, but it's enough to get you through a typical half-day work session without hunting for a power outlet. When you plug it back in, the charger ramps up fast enough to replenish half the battery in about an hour. Another point that often gets overlooked is the connectivity suite. The P16s ships with a full set of ports, 2 USB-C with Thunderbolt 4, and HDMI 2.1, and a dedicated Ethernet port. For someone who frequently needs to connect to a network-locked workstation or external GPU enclosure, those ports are invaluable. The Ethernet port, in particular,